This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this afternoon, Port Harcourt Mall flooded amid heavy rainfall. Protesting workers of Julius Berger accused police of shooting at them. World marks Day of Peace today. On the foreign scene, US to ease coronavirus travel restrictions. I am Ifiemi Andrew. The ground floor of the Port Harcourt Mall is flooded following heavy rainfall this morning. The manager of the mall, Chioma Okoye, said the flooding worsened after Julius Berger worked on the road in front of the mall. Speaking with our correspondent, she called for the company to return and do a proper job on the drainages.
It's a terrible situation for us, and this is the problem we have been writing to the Ministry of Environment about, complaining, series of meetings that have been held regarding the government drainage. They are not flowing. So now that even our pumping machine here installed in the mall, we have been pumping, and the water there's no way for the water to go. And I don't know what kind of work Julius Berger did here. Since after Julius Berger work, it has become even worse. The gutters are not proper. The huge damage here at the mall is terrible. Also, major roads in Port Harcourt are flooded. Vehicles were submerged on Aba Road, Peter Aldili Road, NTA Road, Ikwere Road, and some other parts of GRA. Community Secondary School Abara on the East-West Road is also flooded. Meanwhile, a resident of the flooded Danny B Street by Rumu Kalagbo in Elekaya axis of Port Harcourt has blamed the management of a hotel around his area for the flood situation.
The place has been submerged with water. As I'm talking to you now, my house, everything, my phone, everything has been filled up with water. Not just only my house, the entire house on this Danny B Street has been submerged with water. There is a canal that is beside a small hotel. So the man stands still and blocks the entire canal. Right now, the water cannot go out instantly because everywhere has been flooded. Whenever it rains, the water cannot move out as usual before. As I'm speaking to you now, I'm inside the water right now.
He, however, called on the state government to open up the canal in the area to allow for free flow of water.
We are just crying for help. We don't know what to do again. At least the government should come and open up come and demolish that and open up the canal blocked by this small hotel and resort. The government needs to come and demolish those fences and open up the canal, dredge it, so that the water can move out whenever it rains heavily like this.
Also, other residents of the flooded Danny B Street by Rumu Kalagbo and Elekaya axis of Port Harcourt spoke to our correspondent.
My room is like a fish pond. It's even more than a fish pond. Everybody in this environment is suffering the same thing. And there's one canal that is blocked, and that canal leads to Wanja Creek. So that place is blocked. I believe it's last hotel that causes that drainage to be blocked. So the thing is affecting everybody here.
My documents, my textbooks, my phone soaked with water, and my deep freezer. All of a sudden, they just brought life.
Moving on, the chairman of Emoha local government area, Dr. Chidi Lloyd, has condemned the kidnapping of the expatriate working on the Trans-Calabari Road. Mr. Lloyd spoke as a guest on Nigeria Info's Morning Crossfire.
I was astonished that this could still be happening at this time, especially when someone has taken a bold step to actualize what had been the dream of the Calabari people, to wit the Trans-Calabari Road, and for anybody to go at this time to kidnap the staff of the company that's responsible for the construction of this road. It is shocking. But one begin to ask, what exactly do people want from their leaders? A man has shown goodwill, has shown commitment to make available certain sum of money to Lubric, and you are here kidnapping, taking his staff.
He, however, said the police are training a vigilante group to patrol the Emoha Calabari Road to avoid a repeat of such incident.
Last week, I assented to the bill establishing the Emoha local government area vigilante service. The same last week, I took the reports from the police to the River State Commissioner of Police, because the fellows that were sent from the communities had to, as a matter of necessity, be profiled by the security agencies, which I have passed on to give some kind of training or talk to these fellows who would be in charge of security, so that they know stricto sensu what their assignment and responsibility will be, albeit that most of these have also been provided for in the law.
Protesting workers of Julius Berger say police shot at them as they marched at the Bonibodo NLNG project yesterday to demand better welfare packages. They said the Bori area commander and company of the joint security personnel disrupted their peaceful protest.
I'm working with Julius Berger, River State, Kukana PPR project. Workers protesting to increase our salary and some other things, our swamp allowance. Protest going on peacefully. Listening to our project manager and our chief security and everything. They have brought the Nigerian police and boys to shoot some of our workers, about 6 of them now.
So I think it was peaceful demonstration without any arms or anything to do in the protest. So we have started the protest that was on Tuesday, and they paid them their own right. And that's the same boy are going here, and they are giving us the same boy we are doing here, and they are paying us medium money. The army and the policeman drove all, they should leave that place. So we decided to go to the council. We shoot 6 of our workers on our presence.
We are protest about our salary because we are working inside swamp, and we are protest about our salary and the swamp allowance they promise us to give us.
The River State Police Command is yet to speak on this, but videos showed some protesters with bullet wounds. A former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, says if the country fails to get a credible and competent leader in 2023, it will spell disaster for the nation. Mr. Obi, who spoke on Arise Television, also made some clarifications on the PDP zoning plan ahead of the 2023 presidential election.
I cannot stay here and talk about what the zoning committee is going to do. But let me assure you that even in discussions I've had or we have had, in various meetings, I do not see the zoning of the chairmanship to any section of Nigeria being a determinant that the other zone will produce the presidential candidates. Everybody today knows that things are not what it should be in Nigeria. Things are going wrong. We have to get it right in 2023 or we'll finish. If we get it wrong in 2023, it will be very bad for the country. We must look for someone who has capacity, the knowledge of what it means to serve or lead this country.
Peter Obi, who was also a vice presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2019 election, frowned at how politicians who defect to the APC are taken to snap photographs with the president.
I'm not going to worry. I don't do politics of asking people why did you defect from year to year. But what I find worrisome is seeing people being led to go and take photo shots with the president. I want to see the president taking pictures at funerals of our fallen soldiers, police, or their families. I want to see him taking pictures with young boys who are doing so many innovative things in the tech industry. Please, I'm pleading with those who are close to him. Yes, if you want to join party, join party. But those pictures are not helping our country because perception is sending the wrong signal.
Still ahead, today, the world marks Day of Peace. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
A chief in Rumokoro community, Innocent Ikunga, has urged the River State House of Assembly to ensure that there is a public hearing on the bill seeking to allow women to share in family property, sponsored by Michael Chinda. Chief Ikunga said traditional rulers, chiefs and stakeholders should make their inputs on the bill before it's passed into law to avoid anarchy in communities. He said there should be a clause in some areas of the law because certain areas in the customary law prohibits women from certain rights in the family.
I commend Honorable Michael Chinda for presenting such bill, and I wish the House of Assembly will pass this bill into law. But I have worries there. My concern is that the bill says that the women should have inheritance. I want to say that there should be a clause there because, for instance, in my own place here, the Evo Kingdom, there is no way a woman can mount the throne. Let the traditional throne not be desecrated because of a law that has been enacted.
He also spoke on the role young people can play in keeping the peace in the Niger Delta.
In some states in Nigeria, Abuja, Lagos, they are what they call.
Today is International Day of Peace. The United Nations General Assembly set aside the day to strengthen the ideals of peace through observing 24 hours of non-violence and ceasefire. For the Niger Delta region, once known for its volatility, convener of the Youth Summit, Rivers State, Grant Bestman, tells correspondent Choma Ezemafor that more needs to be done to engage the youths of the region to ensure that peace is preserved.
The youths in Rivers State need to understand that violence is not the way to go at all. Innovation hubs where startups can go and have very low budget offices where they can operate from. They pay as low as 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 a month to operate from those offices, and they get to meet like minds. But do we have that in Rivers State? The answer is no. If you look at the state very well, you realize that those things that are meant to take the youth out of violence, or that are meant to keep the youth busy so they don't get involved in violence, are really not available. All our leaders in the state, all the focus have just been politics.
He also spoke on the role young people can play in keeping the peace in the Niger Delta region.
The youth in Rivers State need to understand that violence is not the way to go at all. It shouldn't be on our list for any reason. It should be something we run away from as far as we can. So violence is not the way to go. What's important for us to do as youth is to engage in productive ventures. Either we're schooling, or we're doing one business, or doing one job or the other, rather than take violence as a means of livelihood, which is about talking. So it's not a way to go at all.
The theme for this year's International Day of Peace is Recovering Better for an Equitable and Sustainable World. The Secretary of Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says the federal government is serious about the call for mandatory COVID vaccination for civil servants. He spoke at the unveiling of Nigeria at 60 photo exhibition. In business, the CBN says the e-Naira, which is set to be launched on October 1, is a legal tender equal to the value of the Naira and must be accepted as a form of payment by all merchants and business outlets. The CBN Director of Payment System Management, Mr. Musa Jimo, said this during an interview in Lagos. In entertainment, Nigerian singer Davido has lifted the suspension on his aide and trusted ally Israel DMW. The music star and Israel were spotted in a video together for the first time in months, putting to rest the speculations about his suspension. In sports, Anthony Joshua says the heavyweight boxing bout with fellow Briton Tyson Fury will happen preferably in Britain before he hangs up his gloves. Between them, the two boxers currently hold all the major versions of the heavyweight world title.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
The US is easing its coronavirus travel restrictions, reopening to passengers from the UK, EU and other nations. From November, foreign travelers will be allowed to fly into the US if they are fully vaccinated and undergo testing and contact tracing. The US has had tough restrictions on travel in place since early last year. On the news this afternoon, you heard that the Port Harcourt Mall is flooded amid heavy rainfall this morning. Protesting workers of Julius Berger have accused the police of shooting at them. Today is World Peace Day. On the foreign scene, we told you that the US is set to ease coronavirus travel restrictions beginning from November. The news was edited by Choma Ezemafor. Contact our newsroom in 0818-900-0017. For more stories, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Rainfall continues in Port Harcourt this afternoon. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Thank you for your time, and bye-bye for now.